Hi there, welcome back. I've been waiting to do this video for several weeks. I was just waiting on my new little notebook to come to do my currently inked in. So it's going to be just like an inky journal, not necessarily like all of the new pens I buy. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll put everything in here. I mean, it is fairly small. I think it's 180 pages. And I don't know if I'm going to have to like skip pages in between. It is Tomoe River paper. But so I was waiting for this to come. I ordered it way before Christmas. And the shop didn't say they were shut down or anything. So, but I'm guessing just the holidays made, you know, the processing time longer. So it came today. Today is, I think, like the 13th of January. Yeah, so I am wanting to go ahead and do my currently inked for January. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this set up and we'll get right in. Okay, so we're going to see how this works out. I'm not really sure yet how I want to do this, and I don't think that that is going to work. I guess I didn't really think about the bump with this not being like a signature bound type book like the Hobonichi is. So I'm going to try to draw the color of the ink in there and then write it out here. If I had thought, I probably should have brought my square out a little farther. So maybe next time, we'll see. But I think I have 8 pens. If not, we'll move on to the next page, or I can always put one down here if I need to. So I'm just going to pull them. These are in no order. I'm just going to pull them out and I'll tell you a little bit about what I think with the combination. Since it has been several weeks, I've been journaling with most of these and kind of have a good feel about what I think I'm going to do. So the first pen is my Esterbrook Esty in Winter White. This was a recent purchase in December. I'm not sure if it's the ink or if it's the temperature. It's been so cold here and then warm in the house, but the computer room where all of my pens and inks are is a little cooler. It's shaded. So there's some like condensation on this nib, and it's only happening on this nib. So I don't know, maybe I didn't let it dry long enough before I inked it up. But it has been inked for quite a while. This is a broad nib, and let's see how this is going to work. Yeah, maybe it'll be okay. This is, again, the Esterbrook Esty in Winter White. With a broad nib. And I don't know that I mentioned where my notebook came, or where this, yeah, the paper is Tomoe River paper from Paper Penguin. Is it Paper Penguin? Penguin Paper Co. It is Paper Penguin Co. So that is where the notebook came from. We will check the back and see how this holds up. That way I know if I need to skip 2 pages in between or what. So the ink that's in here is Robert Oster Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty. And I think I mentioned, because I've been journaling, so you guys might have seen some of this, but, or some of these pens with these inks. So that is, I love this gray, but I don't like it in this nib. So that's just, it looks really nice and it's very legible, which I like. But I don't know, maybe I just think the broad nib is just a little too broad for me. Because I do tend to like a finer nib, but that's when I'm writing in my planner. When I am writing, like journaling, I prefer like a medium nib. But I think this is a really nice little matchup. Fun for the winter. Okay. So the next few pens, go ahead and pull them out. I have a couple of different cases because I've been carrying some and not, and I always keep my pens up so the cats don't get a hold of them. Alright, so next up is my Sailor Pro Gear Slim in First Snow, and I'm just not a fan of Sailor nibs. Their pens are gorgeous, but the nibs are just, I don't care for the feedback. It's just not my favorite. So this is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. First Snow in medium, with a medium fine nib, and it's inked up with Diamine. Is it Early Dusk, I believe? Yeah. So that was an ink vent from 2023. It's a beautiful color, but honestly, it's just kind of meh. My hand is just not very steady today. So yeah, it writes fine. The ink is fine. It's just not a wow ink. I think it pairs nicely with this pen. That was kind of the point, was that it paired nicely with the blue. But yeah, I think the ink is just kind of a meh for me. It's not my favorite, but it's not the worst. I'm not a huge blue ink fan. So unless it has some really good properties or shimmer, I probably am just not gonna buy it. So yeah, that I wouldn't buy a full bottle. I still have a ton left in the sample. So this is a Jinhao 82 in Morandi Lake Blue with an extra fine nib. The evaporation on this thing is insane, so this ink is not gonna look, and that's if it writes. I'm not really sure. It's written every time I've pulled it out, but it's been a few days, so no, it's writing very nicely, actually. That's surprising. Okay. I'm gonna have to post it. It's a little short. So I got this on Amazon. Actually, Steven bought it for me for Christmas, and I wanted it because of the colorway. It's gorgeous. And it has, I mean, to me, it's very comparable. It's a little lighter in the hand than the Sailor, and the Sailors are pretty light. But I don't know. Maybe it's about the same weight. Yeah, I think it is pretty close. It might be just a tad lighter, but I haven't been too pleased with the writing experience, and that's probably the extra fine nib. I didn't realize, I think this is a number 5 and I thought it was a number 6. I probably would have gotten a fine had I known it was a smaller nib. But, so this is the... It's actually writing a lot better in this on this paper than it did in my my Midori paper. So it's a Genhao 82 in Morandi Lake Blue with an extra fine nib. Yeah, it's smooth. I mean, I'm not saying anything really bad about the nib. It is a smooth nib, but it's not really one that I see myself really reaching for. But it was a cheaper pen, and like I said, essentially I just wanted it because of the color. It's beautiful. So it has Troublemaker. Is it abalone, I think? Yeah. Troublemaker abalone. But it is a very, like, it's not scratchy at all. It's a nice nib, and definitely on this paper. I may have to rethink my Midori. I've not had any problems with my other. It's just this extra fine was a little scratchy on the Midori paper. So this one, it's almost dry, and it actually wrote really well, so it doesn't look like I don't know if I have my where I was writing with it. I'll look and see if I can find where I was writing with it and show you how dark it came. So maybe I just have it screwed on tight enough or something. Okay, so my next pen I'm having a little bit of an issue with. So we're gonna see. This is modified, so it's not the pen's fault and it's not the nib's fault. I think it's a combination of the two, just aren't working together. So this is an Asvine, I don't know, V200 in rainbow. It's a beautiful pen. But I changed the nib out, so it had the rainbow nib on it, but it's the only pen that I have that I could find that had a Bach compatible housing. So I got this nib called Schrodinger's Cat off of AliExpress. I was surprised that it even came. And then I got the ink, Schrodinger / Cat. There's two different inks. I'm using Schrodinger in this. They're Colorverse inks. So, but the thing is when I open the valve to let the ink down so I can write with it, it bubbles. It drips like a lot of ink. So I think hopefully it will be okay just doing this. I'm hoping. The nib itself is gorgeous. It writes so, for a $12 nib, it writes so smooth. It is a fine. Let's see. So this is the Asvine V200 Rainbow with a fine nib. And let's see. So it has Colorverse, Schrodinger, so I mean it's writing fine now, but like I said, when I open the valve, I can just open it for a second, let a little bit of ink through, and it'll write fine with no problems. It's super smooth, and I love the green ink. It's so pretty, and it actually really matches well with the colors on the rainbow. I really love that pairing. But oh, I didn't really share. So my pairing on this really wasn't as good of a match as I thought it was for the Troublemaker, but that was the ink I wanted to use, so I don't care. It doesn't have to be super matchy for me, but yeah, so the Schrodinger works really well. I'm just gonna have to find, I think, a different, either I'm gonna have to pull the nib out of the housing and just put it in another housing, or I'm going to have to find a different pen to put it in because it's not working well in that one at all. So, I mean, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It writes really nice. I actually really was super surprised by how it writes. Okay, so this is my Esterbrook Esty in Jurassic. Now this I actually inked up back in December because I wanted to, like, as soon as I got it, I inked it up. And I really didn't write with it, so I've been writing with it this month to give it a try, and it's beautiful. So it has a fine nib. I'm pretty sure that, like, all of my inks are just, like, greens and blues. I don't know, maybe I have, yeah, no, I really do think they're, like, greens and blues. I'm not sure. Yep, I actually do. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyway, so this pen is just a dream. I love these pens. They are so comfortable to write with. They're just my perfect pen, I think. And so I will continue to buy these as long as it's a colorway that I enjoy. I'm not huge on the browns and like the honeycomb and the tortoise shell ones, so I won't buy those. They're beautiful, but they're just not my colorway. So I like the more vibrant, fun colors. So this is inked with Endless Mystic. Is it Mystic Forest? And this is probably my favorite combination so far. This is my favorite ink. I love that gray on the Soft Kitty Warm Kitty, but I should have put it in this pen because I think it would really show off in with the grays in this pen, but the fine nib, I don't know, I'm just not a huge fan of that broad nib. Anyway, I think that one is just a beautiful match, and it writes like so nice. It is my favorite. Like I said, Estes are my favorite pen at the moment. Alright, so I did re-ink. This was cleaned out, but I did re-ink it with the exact same ink that was in it because I just absolutely adore this pairing. I don't know what it is about this pen and this ink. I haven't even put any other ink in it. I'm sure they all work fine, but I just gravitate to this pen. I want to write with it. Like every time I thought about journaling, I wanted to write with this pen and it wasn't inked up. So I just went ahead and put the same ink back in it, and I'm okay with that. I should have thought this out because, like I said, they're all greens and blues except for the gray. And I could have actually put them in some sort of order. So this is my Lamy 2000 in black. It has another name, but I'm not sure what it is. So we're going to put black. With a medium nib, and it has Diamine Blue Velvet. It's just a combination of smoothness and like the perfect, I don't know, it's just, I don't want to change it because I just adore everything about this combination. So it's so fun to journal with and so easy to journal with. Let me see if I can swap these. I don't know that that's heavy enough to hold it down, but swap that on this side. Okay. Do we have 2 more? Yep. All right. So this is my new pen. Oh, I guess I could have. I'm not good at this. But the Lamy 2000 is a surprising love for me. So this is my Opus 88, my first ever in pink. And I did kind of match the ink with the finial. I love that you have that option to have 3 different colors of ink basically, and then you could also do a black or a gray or neutral, something like that. But you have the purple, the pink, and the teal. So, but I love this pen. It has the black nib that says Opus 88 on it. And this one, on the other hand, whereas my Asvine, I can't really open it right with it, this one works fine. So you just open that up to give it a little bit of air, and I love this. I love this combination. It's so nice. So, oh. Yeah, ignore me because I don't know what I'm doing. Opus 88. Demo pink. PVD 2024 with a medium nib. As you can tell, I can't tell if I want to do the little... I think my hair is touching that mic. It's probably going to be so annoying. I'll have to edit all that out. Okay, so it is inked with Diamine, Aurora Borealis. Are we seeing a trend here? Let's see. No, I've only got, what, 3 Diamine inks? But I do have more Diamine inks than I have of any other, so to be fair, it's probably always going to be like that. I'm actually a little nervous to get finished with this because I did not do a test page in this, so I don't know if this is going to be a bad batch of paper because we've had such issues with the Tomoe River paper. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm a little nervous about finishing this and flipping the page. But yeah, I think that is a really nice match. You can't really tell because it looks a little bluer, but up against the ink, it is pretty much a perfect match. I really like this pen. It's got a good weight to it. It's not too heavy. You would think it would be because it's so thick, but it's a beautiful pen. All right, last we have, and this one, I'm not sure how it's going to write. I've been having issues with this, and it's not the pen, it's the ink. So, yeah. Oh, I don't know what this ink is doing. I'm concerned. So, I'm not going to cap that because I think there's ink up in the cap. Yeah, I've been having issues, so I wanted to go back to this pen because I like it in my plotter. But I think I'll put my Diamine Walnut back in it or something because this, at least it's writing. Because honestly, it has not really wanted to. So it has the platinum, oh, I always butcher it, Chukuru, I think. But this is my Monteverde, Dakota, Raw Flame. with a fine nib. Yeah, it's just so nice to grab and not have to unscrew the top. It's just a good pen for my plotter. I kind of went into that about carrying it around last week. But I am having so many problems with this ink in here. And I don't know why, but I did place an order for Diatramentis document ink. It's the black ink that I've used forever. I just thought this was such a nice black that I wanted it. So I'm not happy with it though. Not at the moment. It works beautifully in my TWSBI. My TWSBI is permanently inked with it, which is why I'm not really putting it on here. I mean, I guess I could, but it's the same ink. C-H-O-U. Is that right? K-U-R-O. Yeah. But it writes really nice. This pen is beautiful. This is one of my favorite pens, which is why it's in my planner. But yeah, I'm just having all kinds of issues since I cleaned it out and put that. Well, I cleaned it out because I wasn't going to use it because I was going to use my TWSBI. But the TWSBI is a little too broad of a nib to use in my plotter. I don't know that this is going to set. I thought I could line these up and we'll see. But I think this planner might be just a little smidge too small for that. Anyway, this is the order in which they are written. And let me take that off. So that is my currently inked with my currently inks, and now we're gonna flip the page and see how I'm nervous. I am so nervous, but so far I'm gonna say that my top pen is gonna be my Esterbrook SD with the Mystic Forest. Just top pen, hands down. This is going to be my #1 pick. The Lamy 2000 is going to be my #1 pick for journaling. The Opus 88 is amazing. I love the nib. I love the smoothness. I love the combination, and I love writing with it. Yeah, this one just isn't working out with the ink very well, and neither is the Asvine and the Colorverse ink. But I think that's a nib problem because I had Ancient Copper in it for a few weeks and it worked perfectly. So with the other nib, not with the Schrodinger's cat nib. So I think it's got something to do with that nib. And then the Asvine, I don't know. It might be a nice planner pen to carry occasionally, but I don't know. I'm just not thrilled with the nib on it. And then the ProGear Slim, I just don't care for Sailors. I'm going to take both of my Sailors to the Atlanta Pen Show and hopefully get them worked on. And then this, I just am not a huge fan of that broad nib, and I may actually take it and get it ground as well when I go to the Atlanta Pen Show if I can get some information on it, because I've been trying to contact them. Every other pen show, and they're all after. Like, the Atlanta Pen Show is in April, and I think the Chicago Pen Show is in May. And they've already got all of the vendors and everything done for the Chicago Pen Show. And the Atlanta Pen Show, I don't even know what nib grinders are going to be there. And I've emailed them twice and they're not responding. So maybe they're not even doing the pen show this year. I don't know. But my hopes are to take these to a pen show. So if I have to go to maybe the DC Pen Show, or I don't know, maybe I'll wait until Atlas does their little sidewalk sale, and hopefully they'll have a couple of nib grinders there like they did last year. So maybe that's what I'll do. Anyway, okay, let's move all of these out of the way. And let's see. Everything looks dry. Oh, wow. Impressive. so ghosting, but it's not even like a huge, like really bad ghosting, but that's impressive. Really, the color burst is the only one that it's peeking through. It's not bled, but it's on the verge. If it had any more ink on it, it would. So that's the only one, and that's the one that I feel like is putting down a lot of ink. So I'm impressed because that means I can continue on this page and not really have to worry about it. Yeah, okay. So that makes me happy because I was a little concerned just with all the issues. So hopefully it'll hold up through the rest of the year. But that's what I'm going to, my intentions are. So maybe I will do like I was doing my other planner. It's just so thick and so hard to write on with that Sterling ink notebook that I have in the N2. It's just so like hard to put your hand on and write. So okay, well, I am thoroughly impressed. Hopefully next month we can have a little more array of colors, but these are my currently inked for January 2024. If you have any questions about any of the pens or the nibs or the inks, I'm happy to answer anything that I can that I may have not mentioned in here. None of these are shimmer inks. I do want to have at least one, but I think I'm going to dedicate an Esterbrook nib and converter, at least for now, because when I write with my medium, I have it cleaned out right now, but when it was still showing shimmer after I cleaned it twice. So I think I'll probably just dedicate, I have 2 medium nibs, so I think I'll just dedicate 1 nib and 1 converter to shimmers, at least for now. And then once I kind of get a flow on what pens can handle it, then probably will be fine. I don't think I would put any shimmer in, for example, either of these two, because the vac fill on this thing is the hardest thing I've ever, it's awful. I have cleaned this thing and I cleaned it and soaked it, and I could not get the very bottom down here cleaned out. So hopefully that's not what's affecting this pen. Is, I mean, I had it as best I could, but yeah, it's not. But then this one, I just think that they would be really hard to clean out the glitter and shimmer. So I think I will just leave it to my converter pens, at least for now, and specifically my Esterbrook SD, at least for the time being. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully next month, February, well, for one, February is my birth month, so we're going to have fun with that one. But hopefully I'll have a little more range of color, because I guess these are fairly good for like a wintry mix of colors. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and it would mean the absolute world to me if you consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.